Welcome to another Wealth Management RPA Fast Chat. My name is Fred Barstein, contributing editor at wealthmanagement.com's RPA Edge and CEO at Trow, TPSU, and 401k TV. Today, we are talking with Jim Smith, Head of Product and Strategy at Morningstar Investment Management. Jim, thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having me, Fred. Appreciate it.
So first question, how has the retirement income industry evolved in the last few years to offer better services?
So I think there's a couple different levels. One at the participant level, at the individual worker level, we're getting a lot more data and information about individuals. I mean, you see this even in your private life with ordering on Amazon, but we get a lot more financial data about the individual. We get a lot of demographic data about the individual, and that just allows us to tailor solutions to those individuals much better. The more information, the better outcomes you have. And then at the plan level, I think there's been a number of interesting changes over the last couple of years with regard to what's offered at a plan level. So for example, dynamic QDIA or hybrid QDIA, whatever term you like, where there's in the early years, you're using a target date fund as the default. And in the later years, as the individual's situation gets more complex from a financial perspective as in your retirement, switching to managed accounts as the default. You're also seeing non-core funds being used much more often, where you may have a retirement tier, or you may have sleeves of funds that are available just for the target date or just for the managed account offering. Just gives both the plan and the participant more flexibility. And then near and dear to us at Morningstar, we have our advisor managed accounts, which we see as a big change in the industry, where the RIA firms at a firm level have a role in building fund-specific portfolios that we use within our managed account offering. And so obviously you can combine all of these things where RIA could say, look, we feel strongly that someone nearing retirement should be in these particular asset classes that are not common in a core lineup. Let's use non-core funds as part of our advisor managed account offering, kind of blend it together. So plan level changes as well as more participant data really opens up a lot more.
So one of the big questions being debated, because we've been talking about in-plan retirement income for decades and very little movement, but yet retirement income planning has been around for 50 years with advisors. So should this retirement income be an in-plan or not a plan? And what are the pros and cons of each?
So I think there are definite pros and cons with each, and I find people in the industry usually have very strong opinions one way or another. They believe in plan or they dislike plan, or vice versa on out of plan. I think it really comes down to, I go back to the individual investor. What's best for that individual investor? And if I'm a wealth manager working with someone who has lots of guaranteed income, I may not need any type of in-plan or out-of-plan solution. And then I may be, on the other hand, I may have a lot of participants who don't have balances large enough to really attract a financial advisor. They may need more solutions that are scalable. Depending on whether they have a pension or not, there may be a benefit to having some type of in-plan solution. If they have a old pension or a frozen pension, there may be no need for it. So our view is you have to be flexible to address what that individual participant needs, and then layer on top of that what the plan sponsor is comfortable offering. Some are comfortable doing some things in plan, others aren't. And if they're not, that doesn't mean there's not a need at the participant level. It just needs to be addressed out of plan rather than in plan. So I think, again, I go back to the beginning where I talked about all the data we're getting on participants. The more data we get, the more flexible in our solutions, the better we can tailor individual solutions to the individual participant, both with regard to retirement income products, as well as just their specific needs in plan for saving for retirement.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I've been talking with Jim Smith, Head of Product and Strategy at Morningstar Investment Management. Thanks for joining us for this Wealth Management RPA Edge Fast Chat. And Jim, thanks for all your insights.
Thanks, Fred. Appreciate it.